Welcome back to ClickFunnels Quick Start Blueprint. This is Dan Havey with CFninjaHacks. And at the end of the last video, I said that we were all done with our elements, and then I realized that I actually missed a few, because if you recall in one of our earlier videos where we were talking about the page type, I said that there are certain page types with special elements built inside of them. And so what I want to do is take a few minutes right now and go through these. The bulk of it's going to be in the order form, and then a little bit with these other couple of page types here. So let's bounce out of where we are right here, because we need to first off go to an order form. And in order for any of this to work, of course, you need to go and set up a couple of products. And I just very quickly went in and set up some products. Again, if you want to know about how to set up products, what you want to do is come down here to our products and order forms underneath our funnel editor page. And we got how to set up the one-step, the two-step order forms, upsells and downsells, the entirety of the product setup process, and then how to test your funnels and your forms and your orders and all that when you're done. And then we also talk about the product quantity limiter. The only thing we don't talk about in here is, let me pull it up here, the product variations, and I'll show that to you here in just a second when we talk about the confirmation page. So let's go in and just take a real quick look at a product. Just very quickly, I have it set to Stripe, one-time payment, and then I just put in a little bit of product detail, the product name, and that it's $10. And when we talk about this here in a minute, we're going to talk about product inventory limit. You can set that down here at the bottom. And then we can say that we have 20 of the items available, but we have already pre-sold 10 of them. So it kind of gives people a little bit of a FOMO kind of thing. Here we got our product variations. And again, we will look at that in a minute. But you can only do a variation if you only have one product on that funnel page. We can do a fulfillment email, and we'll see in a second here that whether you send out a product or a fulfillment email or not, down here at the bottom, whatever product whatever thank you page or membership page you put in here, that will show up in the confirmation. And then we also have our follow-up actions, which I do believe we looked at earlier, where you can add people to a list or send them over to an email autoresponder like MailChimp or something like that. So let's go back into our funnel itself and click on Overview to pull up the page editor. So we'll go right into this. And what I have set up here is I got a 2-column row. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to build out what is the one-step order form. And then on the right-hand side, I will show you the two-step order form. But I want to be very clear about one thing. You never put 2 order forms on the page. So basically what it really means is you never put 2 credit card elements on the page. The two-step will include the credit card element built into it, whereas the one-step you put it in yourself. But what will happen sometimes is people will do a desktop version and a mobile version and duplicate that credit card into both versions, and it'll kill their funnel. So you have to make sure that if you're doing that with mobile, you use the same credit card element within both the desktop and the mobile version. So let's go in here and we'll click on Add a New Element. And a couple of things you have to know about building out a one-step order form, like everything else on the page, we've talked about it a million times, is you have to include 2 things. One is the email input, and the other one is a button. So that's what we need to do in order to be able to save this information. So let's put in an input, and let's just put in a button right away, and we'll set the button. And on the button, of course, what do we have to do? We have to set that to submit the form so that the purchase actually goes through and is recorded. And in the email input, we have to set that to email, and then that way, again, it will store this in the ClickFunnels database based upon this email address once we click the button. So now what else do we want to add in here? We're going to, again, we're building a one-step order form. So we're going to pull in our credit card element, and we're going to put that right below our email address. Now you can put these in any order, but generally speaking, they kind of go in a certain order for most of the funnels that you look at. We can put in Apple or Android Pay, so we'll drop this down here to the bottom. And where this comes in, actually I want it above right there. Where this comes in is if somebody's on their phone and they come in and they look at this and they got the credit card thing here, or they can say, oh, I'm on my cell phone. I just want to pay with my Apple or Android Pay account, and you can just click on it there. And what will happen is inside of Stripe then, we'll open up the Stripe account. You can set which pages you want to enable Apple Pay on, and you just click off which one of your funnels you want Apple Pay included on. It includes Android Pay, of course, as well. And then save the page, update your Stripe account, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And again, on that, we can come in here. We have our payment gateways. So just come through here, the Stripe payment gateway, PayPal, PayPal 2, all that stuff. And you can look at how to set that up. And so you put that in there, and what it does then is it connects it directly to your Stripe account. And after that, you'll go into your Stripe account, and you'll see all this notated in your Stripe account that has turned it on for those particular domains. So we'll put that down there, and we'll go through each one of these elements here in a minute. So what else we want to put in here? We want to put in an order select. This says, okay, what product are we going to choose? And we'll pull this up to the top. Let's give this a little bit of space here. Not going to obviously make this look perfect, but now the other thing we can do is we can do an order select with inventory. As we saw when we were looking at the product, that we can do an inventory. We'll go back to the product details, and that's where this information will show up, is if we say we want a product with an inventory. And so now back into our funnel, and you see here it's got little spinny wheels because it's when this page loads, it'll actually reach out into the product and pull those numbers in that we have set in there. And then let me see here, we have then our order summary, and we can pull that order summary down here to the bottom. So it's right above the payment. Actually, let's put this payment down below that. That would probably make a little bit more sense. And then we have one last element that we can put in here, which is our order bump, which we will put down at the bottom. Of course, you don't need to include an order bump. And also, if you are going to make it the order bump, make sure you come in and you say that you click here on this product and make that the order bump. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and close this, because I do believe one of these products I had set as a bump. Yeah, this one here is set as a bump. So I will click on Edit, and we'll go to Product Details. And so that one now is set as a bump, but you don't want to set the product inventory. I don't think it'll work on the bump. It might. You can test that, of course. I've never tried it on a bump. And we'll click out of here, and as you saw right here, it does say the order bump right there. So let's come back out, and now let's take a look at each one of these elements. So we can come in and we can change the text on a lot of these. And what I'll do is I'll just put in some ones just so you can see on the left-hand side where it's changing it. Obviously, font size, you can change the text color. You can change the background color. You can change all that stuff. Product color. Let's make that blue. You can't hardly see that. Let's make it red. So that's the words and the dollar amount right there. No themes, and under advanced we can do either a radio button or a drop down. So here somebody would come in and they would click on it and they would see the two products we had. We had a total of 3 products, but of course one is down here in the bump. So you could do that or just leave it as your default radio buttons, and you can of course change the font weight there as well. Now when we come into the inventory version of this same element, we got the exact same things. We got the words, we got the colors, we got the themes, but on the back side here we can change our font color, or I'm sorry, our font weight, but we can also change how this looks. So here we have X of X sold. We can put in none, of course, which I don't know why you do that. Only X left, so only X available, only left. So it turns out right when it shows on the page. And then we can say X of them are sold. So let's say X of XXX are sold. We already went through that button. In the credit card, again, we can change all the text in here. Card numbers, CVC. You do that. Now you can also do, whether you have 3 fields like this, or you can click it and go to 1 field. A lot of people are going with the 1 field. I think it's a much cleaner, nicer looking kind of field there. And then hide mobile pay, and we're going to say no on that because we do want our mobile pay down here at the bottom. Or maybe that refers to hiding the mobile pay for the credit card. I'm not really sure exactly what this field does. And then, of course, we can change our label text color right there. Themes are nothing advanced. We can go simple, professional, big border. And we can do some corners on the edges, change the background color, and hide or show the helper text. I would probably say show that right there. Well, I guess, in this case here, maybe you would hide it. I don't know. Or you certainly could change it, because here just says credit card number, but you have it all in one blank. You could change that to credit card info or something like that. Or enter credit card info here, whatever you'd want that to say. So again, that's the credit card element. And then down here is the order summary. So again, we can change our text in here. We can change our colors as before, themes, and advanced. Font weight, that's it. So all these are pretty simple to set up. The Android Pay, you can select your font, and that's it for that. We already know about the buttons. And then with the order bump here, there's a lot of things you can put in here, because we can change all the text in here. So we got our one-time offer, you got the text. So you see all the text in here you can modify. You can change the colors as well. And just kind of follow, yellow upon yellow, headline background. And so obviously I have no idea what I'm doing here. So just bear with me. There we go. There we go. Made it impossible to read the text. So let's change that text color. Let's make that black, not that text color. We can leave that one. There we go. Which one? Headline background. Let's just change this to white. There you go. Change the font sizes, of course, the whole thing. Themes, nothing available. And now, again, we can change our radiuses. We can do a bottom border only. You can change your text shadows, or box shadows, I should say, all that. So I made that look pretty good and hideously ugly. So now let us save this, and we will preview it, see what it looks like. So here we have our 10 of 20 sold, and because you would not put in both of these elements, it's either this element or this element, because you're going to see as I click on number 2 here now, it also clicked on number 2 down here, and you're also going to see here down in the order summary that as you change back and forth between the products, that changes out as well. And then if we choose the order bump, the bump appears and it puts the $30 there. If you want this to make a total here, you got to go over and buy Jamie Smith's CF Pro Tools, and you could have an order. You could have an order total put down here at the bottom. One of these days I'll get around to writing my own hack for that as well. So this is what we have for our very ugly one-step order form. Now you can also do a two-step order form, which is these two here. They are identical except for the inventory part, which is exactly the same as this inventory part over here. So I'm going to choose that one. Now again, never ever ever have two order forms on the same page, and most specifically do not have two credit card elements on the same page. So in order to edit this, we will click on the gear, and we can see step 1 or we can see step 2. And one of the problems with this here is when you click on step 2, this thing rolls up underneath the header. So there are some text elements up here now behind this header that we're not able to see. We can go back to step 1, and let's go back in and open this up. So let's just stick with step 1, and we can say hide the step 1 settings or hide the step 2 settings. Well, in this case here, we want to see our step 1 settings, so we click on that. And we have shipping, and again, I'm just going to put in numbers, and so you can see where it's moving on the screen on the left. And it just goes straight down the page. You got shipping, you got all this kind of stuff, and you get the idea. I'll quit clicking on stuff. Step number one, button subtext. Step number one, button text. Again, you can't see it on the page because it's off the bottom. But if I'll just put 2s in here for the button text numbers and button footer text. We respect your privacy. Edit step number 2. Okay, this goes into step number 2 now, so that would be down here. So now let's look at themes. There aren't any, and we can go to advanced, and what we can say is, do we want to show the phone number? And we'll say no, we don't. Toggle the shipping. We don't need any shipping on this. It's a free plus shipping order, or not a free plus shipping. It's a free, or it's nothing. It's a digital product. That's what I'm trying to think of here. And then we want to show the order bump on the page, but that won't show until we get to the second part of this element. But down here again, if we come back to our settings, this is where we change the button text right there, and we respect your privacy down at the bottom. So I think we pretty much hit on everything there. Now when we go to show step number 2, we've got to scroll up to the top here, we will then be looking at what it says here on the right hand side in case this gets pushed up underneath. That's what we'll change here, is the right hand side, and then of course the rest of this form will change out. So let's go see step number 2. So that went up under there, and so we're going to say, instead of showing step number 1, we're going to hide step number 1, and then we are going to show step number 2. And up there it said your info, so I'll put in a bunch of 1s again, and your billing info. And again, we got the same thing here: item, price, credit card, CVC, etc. as we go down. And okay, item, summary item, summary item text, so we're right there, and the amount on the right hand side, need to capitalize that A there if you don't do anything else. And then the same thing here, we're getting into our bump product, so we get to change all the text inside of the bump. Now one thing I noticed here is I don't see the ability to turn this, how we made this into a one line of text. I don't see that option in here, so it may not exist. And then we get down to the button, complete that, and edit. Oh, and edit shipping details. That's what it says right here. So we can change that, edit shipping details, and of course we can change everything we want to about the button. And there's the button. And then on this one here, like this one here, we could change all the colors. I'm not seeing anywhere on this bump to change the colors. It might be under advanced. So we say show the order bump, or we could hide the order bump. And then we have inventory label. Okay, so this is again where we have our inventory there. So we'll say X of XXX sold. So it changes that out right up there. Form type, simple, professional. So you can change your form type. You can change your corners on things, color of the background. A lot of these things here don't really seem to be doing anything at all. As I click on it, it could be because I changed that form type. But I've always found this thing to be a little bit wonky, to be honest with you. So the button, I just turned that gradient, and we want a button icon. You can put some arrows and stuff on the buttons down here. And so that's really it. We can go in and we can save this, and we can preview the page. And so we got name, and we'll put in an email address so we can go to the next page. Get to the next page, we have 10 of 20 sold, 0 of 30 sold. Put in your credit card number and complete your purchase, but again, never two on the same page. So now that is it for the order form. Let's go back out of here and see what is next. We have our OTO and our downsell. And again, all of that is also in with the products and order forms. We have our upsells and our downsells right there. And so we're going to go to our OTO. And in this case here, again, I have a couple of products set for our OTO. The OTO is exactly the same as the downsell, so I'm only going to show you one of them here. So let's go to the page itself, because so we set up those two products, and when I did the original training on this, I said there isn't actually any elements that are different, but you set up a couple of things different as far as what happens when you submit. So let's just put in a headline element here, and then let's just put in a button element below it, because this is what we want to look at, is this button element. So we click on the gear and we say set an action. So now remember, this is an OTO, one-click OTO. So somebody is going to click on either a yes link or a no link. And so in one case here, if we want to just give it, let's say we're doing this as a text element, we could just say yes dash link or no dash link. You could do that instead of putting in button text or you could put this into a hyperlink. You could use it that way as a yes link or a no link, or what we can do, so let me take that back out, but leave in the hashtag. It's always important to have that hashtag in there if you don't have a URL in there. We got one-click upsell, so we can choose our product. So we got number 1 or number 2. So these are the 2 products that I had set up right here underneath our OTO. Number 1 and number 2 right there. So you have a choice. You can pick one of those or the other. Or let's click back out of here and close that. Or we can choose our no link. So somebody comes to this page here, they say, no, I don't want to buy this. Then you would send them to the no link. So let's do this. Let's create a second button. Well, actually, in fact, in this case here, let's use this headline. So let's say this headline, we want to make this our no, I don't want it. Okay, so we're going to say this is our no link. And so in this case here, we can make this a hyperlink, and we can say no dash link. And when they click on that, what it'll do is it will take them to either the downsell or to the confirmation page. Well, okay, let me clear that up. It's either going to take them to the downsell, to the next upsell, or to the confirmation page. And I would guess if there's none of those, it'll take it to whatever is the next page in the funnel. And if there is no next page in the funnel, then it will just reload this page. So I hope I didn't confuse it there too much. But you got to pay very particular attention to the order that you have your upsells, your downsells, and your confirmation page in. Because if somebody clicks on a no link, it will look for a downsell link. It'll look for the next downsell link and take them there. If somebody clicks on the no link and there is no downsell link, then it'll take them to the next OTO page. So you got to be really careful about what order you put things in. And so this one here, let's open this back up. We will set our action, and we will say, okay, we want to have them pick upsell number 2. Okay, so in this case here, they're going to pick upsell number 2. They click on this button, and then again, they will go to the next upsell page, or no, OTO page, whichever you want to call it. They'll go to the next upsell page or to the confirmation page, whichever is next in the funnel. So again, you got to think about it. You got to make sure you get everything in the right order inside of your funnel. So that's really it for our upsell and downsell pages. Now let's go back out of here and take a look at a confirmation page. And there's really, again, not a whole lot in here to look at. But it's very important, again, in the sales process, if you're going from an order form page to an OTO to a downsell to an OTO to a confirmation, very important the order you have it in there. And you always want the confirmation page, obviously, to be the last page in that series. So we have the element here. And again, we can change out our text. We can do this here. Now, access purchase. If you don't want somebody to access their purchase right away, just because you don't want them to go straight to somewhere else, you want them to receive an email first or something like that maybe, just take out where it says access purchase, and it will get rid of the hyperlink there, so they won't be able to go anywhere. But if you leave that in place, or if you change the words to something else, what it'll do is it will take them to the address that you set right here in the fulfillment email. And by address, I mean the page where you want them to go to. So it'll send them to a thank you page or to a membership page. So that's what it's specifically looking for here. And so in this case here, let's say we're going to go to our this is a test members area. So from this confirmation page, it will send them to this members area in order to log in. So it'll pull out the sign up URL out of the members area, send them to the sign up URL, which will actually put them on the members access page. That's what that will do right there. And otherwise, we can change everything as we normally can, including the font size, and that is it. So the big thing to remember here, if you don't want somebody going to a thank you page or to a membership area, remove this text, which will remove this link. Now, the other thing we have is our variations. So products with variations, and again, as we talked about before, you can set variations right in here, but you can only do it if you have one product in this on this funnel step. Only one product allowed for the product variation. And like I said, I have not even shot a video on this ever. I've never even really kind of looked at it, to be honest with you. So here we are. There's absolutely no settings in this at all that are of any importance. You can change your font family and everything else like normal, no themes, and nothing under advanced. So let's pop back out of here. We got two quick pages to go over yet. We got our members access page, which again, pretty much the only thing you have in here. This is the only element available on the page. And once again, you can come in and change the text where you want. You can come down, change a couple of colors if you would want. And then themes and advanced, again, we can change a little bit of how it looks. But that's pretty much it for this element. And then last but not least is our membership access page. Our membership area. And in here, I'll show you this all real quick. If you're interested in membership areas, I got a big, huge program on membership sites called Membership Ninjas. It's not for the faint of heart. It's expensive, but we go into really in-depth how to build out some really super tricked out membership areas. But the first thing here is you have sections, and then inside of your sections, you will have your lessons. And so let's just take a look here at this first section. You can restrict it so that if somebody has not purchased a particular product or received a tag for whatever reason, whether it's done automatically or you gave it to them on purpose, if they do not have it, they will not see this content on the page at all. It doesn't even load onto the page. And then you can use something called the Wasabi OTO. And if you do that, you can say, okay, well, if they don't have access to it, show just the lesson and the section names on the page, but don't put any of the content on the page. And if somebody clicks on that, then they will go to a certain page in order to be upgraded to purchase that product. And that's the Wasabi OTO right there. But a lot more training on that in Membership Ninjas. Then, of course, we can just clone any one of the lessons that we create. We can add a new section down here at the bottom if you want, and I'll just call this 333 for our sections. Again, you can set your requirements, your tags, and your Wasabi OTO if you want. And then we can come in and we can change the name of each one of these lessons. So just put in a bunch of garbage there. And you can also say, okay, well, which section do I want that lesson in? And you can change that put it in there. You can put in the number of days on a drip. You don't want somebody to see this until 4 days after they become a member. Or down here at the bottom, you can actually put in a date out into the future when you would want this to open up. So everybody will have this released to them on August the 6th. And we can change that there. Otherwise, you can move the lessons around by doing that. You can delete them with a little garbage can. And the last thing we can look at here is we can open up the editor. And it works exactly like everything else. You can add in your sections, you can add in rows, and then also elements, just like you would inside of the regular editor. So now let's quickly go inside of the editor by click on Open in Editor. And inside of here we have three different elements. We can click on the plus. We have our navigation, which is right here already. We have our content, which is here, and we have our search element. Generally speaking, I don't ever put in the search element. You can change the font size, and nothing under themes or advanced. In the navigation element, we can change out, again, all of our standard stuff. You can change out the background color, and we can change out the text color. And let's see here. And then these two have to do with mobile. And honestly, I've never changed these colors ever because most of the high-end stuff that I'm building now, we just completely take out that mobile toggle anyway and replace it with a hamburger bun menu or something like that. So then let's go into themes and nothing there. And then these two shadows, we can put in a blurry shadow. That's the shadow around the top part, the section header. And then we can put in let's try a hard shadow then around the bottom part here where all the lessons will show. And then the element itself, there's virtually nothing in here. You can change the font, but I don't even think changing this font will change anything because everything that's inside of this section is what you built inside of the lesson itself. So it'll always be completely replaced by anything, and all the text that's in here currently you do not see on the screen. So I guess you could put in a default for the element of whatever font you wanted inside of that element, but then of course everything in the lesson itself would override that. So again, I've never set that ever on all the hundreds of membership sites I have built. So that is it for this element. So that is really it for all the elements now inside of ClickFunnels. Hope you enjoyed this training. As always, any questions, just let me know.